Hey everyone, this time on Tim Talks Audio, we're checking out the newest from Baby Audio. This is ihny2. Baby Audio turns 3 years old. Happy birthday, Baby Audio. And they're going back to their roots with their first plugin, the ihny2. This was a parallel processor that has gotten quite the update. So let's go ahead and dive straight into the DAW and take a look. All right, so here it is, ihny2 version 2, the upgrade to its predecessor, and a long time coming. Not that it really needed it, but some of the changes in here are really cool. Let's go over the controls real quick. Up top, you have your preset browser. All the way to the left is your oversampling. You can solo what you're listening to with the S button over here. To the right, you can save your presets if it's something that you've made, or to the left of the preset browser is where you can load one if it's not visibly available for you. And then to the top right, tooltips on or off. You can save whatever you're doing as the default. This way you can just be that much faster if it's something you're using over and over again. Or this button here resets everything back to 0. I've made some adjustments and I could go to that, but I want you to hear this in a little bit. Then let's get right to it. Here's the big XY pad. By default, your center point will be exactly at the center. So it'll be a 50-50 blend of wet versus dry, and not the smallest amount of compression and not the craziest amount of compression. And that's what this thing is. It's a parallel compressor, if we didn't say that already. So easily I can just grab this white dot here and move it anywhere in this XY field. If I move up, I'm only listening to the compressed signal. If I move down, I'm now starting some parallel processing and blending the wet and the dry together. And then if we go left to right, that's the amount of compression we're doing to the signals coming in. So more to the left, kind of subtle, a little easier. To the right, all out, just crushing it. On bottom, we have auto gain, so it will match the input and output signals, making sure that you're just not getting something louder, making you think it's better. So it's making you critically listen to the sounds you're getting. And then to the right is the actual output meter itself, but if you have auto on, you don't need to mess with these. Then in the center, this is the cool one. This is the tweak button. With this open, you can do a ton within this plugin to shape the characteristics of the sound and the compressor settings. So if we start from the left, you can adjust your attack time here and your release right next to that. It's this shared control, but they're not linked. They're just connected. Next to that, you have your ratio. By default, it starts at 12:1, but it can go from 2:1 all the way up to 20:1, so you're actually crushing your signal. I'm just going to put this back to 12. Then you have the punch control. This you can actually shape to give yourself a little bit more punch, and that's usually your low end. So you're going to kind of emphasize that a little bit. Then you have harmonics. This is really cool, where it's adding some saturation into your signal and thickening things up even more after the compression has happened. Next to that, you have shape, and it's exactly what it looks like. It's a smile EQ curve, adding some lows, adding some highs, scooping some mids, and you could do this by percentage. Right now it's at 33%, but the more you push it, the brighter and lower your signals will sound with a nice mid scoop. Up next is the tilt control, and this is a built-in tilt EQ. There's a center point, and you can either shift the lows down and the highs up, or vice versa, depending on the signal coming in. So before you even use shape, you can go into your tilt and maybe raise your low end and bring your highs down, or vice versa. You can use them in conjunction too. And then the last control here is your low and high preserve. This allows you to let some signals of the original kind of through the sidechain detector and bring some of your low end back in, or maybe not affect the highs so much. And it blends everything in. So you'll be able to preserve your lows or highs, right? Makes sense. Cool. That's all the controls. And the only other thing is on the bottom right, you can resize the plugin window, which inside Studio One, it adapts very quickly and easily. So you can just adjust it however you need to within your setup. All right, that's all the controls. Now let's get into how this thing sounds. I've dialed something in, but you need to know where we're starting. So the plugin is still inactive. And I'm just going to rewind a little bit. We've heard this song before. It was something that I've been working on. And here's where we are now. The only adjustments I've made without doing anything inside of ihny2 is I have a guitar bus and I did some processing there to help the guitars cut a little bit more. Here's our starting point. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make our drums cut through this mix. We can hear them, but I need a little bit more. So I'm going to turn on ihny2, and now let the magic happen. Instantly making those drums just push straight out. And I'm doing this on some MIDI drums, so think of it like I'm doing it on the drum bus. I haven't split this out into all the different MIDI instruments like your kicks, your snares, and any of that. I'm just affecting what would essentially be my drum bus. And let's go over what I've done. I have no oversampling going on. I've got, let's see, when we hover, we have a 64 to 36% dry to wet. So we're favoring the dry over the wet signal. And I have the compression amount pinned at 100%. Full right, I want this thing compressing hard. And let's go back into the tweak settings so I can show you. I do have the attack slightly slower at 23 milliseconds, but this thing can go all the way up to 1. So we'll put that back to where it was. That's close enough. Then the release, I have it set to 80 milliseconds. Like we said before, ratio 12:1. I don't have the punch control doing anything right now. I don't have harmonics doing anything, but we'll do it again. I do have a little bit of shape, giving us a little bit of low, a little bit of high, and scooping our mids ever so slightly. And I'm not doing any low or high preserve or using the tilt EQ at all. Now let's solo our drums, and then we'll mess around with harmonics, shape, tilt, and our preserve controls. We're not going to change anything else. So let's listen to just our drums. We'll solo those out, and we'll play this again, messing with the controls we talked about. So with just a few little adjustments here and there, we're getting some really nice saturation on these drums. They're shining a little bit more with the shape control. I felt like I didn't need to use the tilt EQ function, but I did preserve some of those super lows and some of the super highs, and just kind of brought the filters in a little bit from the low and high end. And then at the end there, you also heard I did a quick before and after. You're hearing how much we're actually getting. I could probably relax this a little bit more as well, but for what I'm doing in this miniature production, I kind of want everything to be ridiculously large and punch through. And since I want to do everything, why not throw ihny onto my mix bus? This is going to get ridiculous, and we'll clear our solos. So here we go again. I'm favoring the dry signal to the wet signal, and I'm not doing as much compression. And let's take a look and tweak. Again, I've slowed down the attack, fastest release, crushing with the ratio. I'm adding some punch, a little bit of harmonics across my entire mix. I have the shape going on, and we're also preserving the lows and just the lows. So now let's do our entire mix, and we'll turn ihny2 version 2 on and off. Did you hear how long it made those cymbals ring out at the end? That's the ridiculous amount of compression you can get with this plugin. But because it's a parallel plugin, we're letting all of the initial dry signals come through as well. All of their transients and all of their tone are still coming in. But the length or the ringing of these cymbals is just stretched out. And honestly, it's something I kind of like for what I'm doing here, because in the second half of this, I do have these strings going with a nice healthy reverb, so I want that extra length from these cymbals. Now I could probably go in and clean them up a little bit more or adjust my compression settings so that they're not as long, but we're getting a little bit of parallel compression across our entire mix, just kind of fluffing everything up. And we have the tweak section open, so we're adding a little bit of harmonics, we're doing a little bit of shape with our EQ, and we're bringing our punch in and making sure that it has the punch we need with something that sounds like this, or something that I want in something that sounds like this. So there you go. That is ihny2 from Baby Audio, the update to their original plugin. If you want to pick up a copy for yourself, use the link down in the description. That's all for now. If you found anything informative, please like and share the video. For mixing or lesson information, or to join the community, join the Discord. Link was also down in the description. And if you have a question, ask it in the comments and I'll answer it in a future video. Thanks for watching.